Hi there. I'm just starting this video laughing because this is the fourth time I'm trying to record this. And I got so far the last time before it just stopped recording and didn't save anything that I had recorded. The first time I didn't realize that all my private information was out, so I had to stop it. And then I did it again, so I had to stop it. And then the next time, it just stopped recording and didn't save anything. So I'm gonna try it one more time. And if you're seeing this, it worked. And if you're not, it doesn't matter. I'm talking to myself then. But I have been reading a ton this week. In the past 10 days, I have read 4 books. So I thought I would just do kind of a casual, informal talk through of the books I've been reading, kind of like little reviews on them, things like that. And just kind of let you see what I've been reading. I love to see what people are reading. I just think it gives you such insight into who they are as people. So this is my timeline. The app is Libby that I'm using. If you've never heard of it, it goes with your local library. So if you have a library card and your library supports this app, you can just put in your card information and you can read ebooks. And I think you can read 8. You can check out 8. And you can put 8 on hold. So I have read on this app 3 books. The rest of them are holds, or I haven't read it yet. 5 Total Strangers is probably will be the one I read next when I pluck up the courage to read it. I think it's like a thriller kind of novel, which I don't always do the best with because I get scared really easily and I think about it for years. I have The House in the Cerulean Sea. I don't know how to say that. I do know it's a color of blue because when I was little, it used to be my favorite color and I used to call it cerulean. And so now, no matter how many times I've heard the actual word, just for nostalgia's sake, I will never remember it. And I always call it cerulean, and I know I will every single time I see it in this book as well. Just because I can't think of it as anything else. I just read, let's see, maybe about a week ago, I read The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. I finally am so close. You can tell right here how much time you have left before it gets to you. I'm so close to getting ready to read The Ex-Hex now that it's not October, but I'm really excited to read it. I have the Practical Magic series on hold. I have the first book, and I think that's the last book because look at that hold. It's 16 weeks. It's 4 months. So I put the last one on hold, figuring if I like it, I'll have read the other books by the time that 4 months is up. I read Anxious People, and I read The Readers of Broken Wheel Recommend. I just finished this one. Let's see, it's 11:20, and I just finished it, I think, at 11 o'clock. It was 2 minutes before I originally started filming, but now this is my 4th time, so it's been a while. So let's go ahead and look at the ones that I read. We're actually going to start with a book that I loved, absolutely loved. This book is called The Midnight Library, And essentially it's about a space like in between life and death, where there's a library and it's got all like an infinite number of books. And within those books, every decision that you've ever made, if you could have switched it and made a different decision, that book tells the story of the rest of your life. So it follows this woman, Nora, who's just not happy with her life. And she ends up in between life and death. And she gets to go through all of these books and see what her life would have been like if she would have made other choices. And I absolutely loved it. I am actually going to buy it for my bookshelf. So I don't really buy books. Even though I love them, I check them out from the library or try to find a way to read them for free. And my absolute favorite books go on my bookshelf out in my living room. And it's a pretty small bookshelf, considering how much I do read. But it has like my absolute favorites. So maybe one day I can do like a little book tour and show you my favorites. I don't know, it's so personal. I think your favorite books. I loved that one. I so recommend that one. It was lovely. The next one that I read was Anxious People. And I actually really liked this book. I thought it was really good. It's not one that I'm going to be putting on my bookshelf. I'm not sure if I will ever want to reread it. But it was good. I just didn't really vibe with the way that this author wrote. It wasn't very easy for me to read, if that makes sense. But essentially what this book is about is there is a bank robber, and that's all you know about them for most of the book, is that they're a bank robber. And they kind of like accidentally end up taking a group of people hostage. And it's just about kind of what happens after that. It's really lighthearted. It's really funny. It's really good. Kind of, let's see, it says about a crime that never took place, a would-be bank robber who disappears into thin air, and 8 extremely anxious strangers who find they have more in common than they ever imagined. What I like about this book is it gives you little tiny pieces of information, so you really don't know what's happening like the entire time until you get almost to the end. So it makes you want to keep reading it and keep reading it. It kind of reminds me of like, if you've ever seen Only Murders in the Building, it's got a very similar feel to that, where it's like crime kind of, but very lighthearted, and you don't know who is who. You don't know what's happening like the whole entire time, and you get like a little bit of people's backstories as you keep going. This is the one I just finished. The readers of Broken Wheel recommend. It was really good. I liked it a lot. You can see my little thumbs up to show that I really liked it. It's about this really small town called Broken Wheel, and the people that live there. So there is this girl Sarah, and she lives in Sweden, which, fun fact, Anxious People was set in Sweden, and I read them back to back. Oh no, I guess I read one in between, but I didn't know, so it was funny that it had that little connection that I didn't know about. And she comes from Sweden to meet her pen pal Amy, but what she doesn't know is that Amy has just recently died, and she walks into her funeral. And throughout a series of events, everyone's very, very helpful to her. And throughout a series of events, she decides to open up a bookstore a bookstore, kind of, with Amy's old books. And it just kind of builds from there and goes from there. And it really becomes a story about the people and less about the books. I liked it a lot. It's not like a bookshelf book, like one of my favorites ever. But I do really like it. And I would recommend it to people. It starts out really, really slow. And I know a lot of people don't like slow plots, but I personally do. I like reading mundane things, and I like imagery and setting the backdrop for things that are going to happen. But I do think that once this one got going, it was so slow in the beginning. I think they could have added more things and kind of spread out what's happening a little bit better, because it was so fast. It was almost hard to keep up. And I read the entire half of the book today just because I had no idea what was happening and I wanted to know. And I feel like it could have had a little bit of better, not like closure at the end, but I think it could have been wrapped up a little bit better at the end. Everything got tied up, all the loose ends got tied up, but you just wanted a little bit more from the ending, if that makes sense. Then the last book that I read is actually on a different app, so I need to pull it up, make sure there's no information on here, so I don't have to restart the video again. I read this one. I did not know it was a series. It's called Girl's Guide to Witchcraft. And it says 2020, but it was like rewritten or edited or something in 2020. I don't really know. I didn't love this one, and I don't think I'm gonna read any of the following books. I don't know. I guess I should have read that it was a romantic comedy, and I'm not like the biggest fan of romance novels, and this one felt like a little bit more romance and a little bit less things were happening. And obviously it didn't get wrapped up because it's a series, and I didn't know that. But I don't know, I just didn't love it. I didn't love the character. I didn't love the name they chose for her. They decided to name her Jane. It just didn't seem like it fit her, like, at all. I thought it was a really neat idea. So essentially, Jane works at a library, so another library book that I was reading, and this library is struggling to stay open. It's like a historical library. It specializes in like a certain era and only has books based on that era. So she works there, and there's budget cuts, and instead she has to take a budget cut to her salary, like a big cut. But her employer says, well, I did work out that you could live in the cottage on the grounds of the library as kind of a compensation for your salary getting cut since you can't pay rent anymore. So when she goes to the grounds, she finds in the basement there's a whole like smattering of magical books, like very powerful magical books down there. And I love reading about like magical things. And she reads a spell out of the book and finds out that she's actually a witch and has like a warder that comes and will help protect her and things. And I just think it was such a cool idea for a story that I wish it had been executed differently for my personal taste. I mean, obviously if you like romantic comedies, you probably really like this. But I don't know, I kind of wanted more plot and less in her mind about guys, essentially. And let me go back to Livy so I can show you the one that I'm going to be reading next. I'm not sure if I'll read this one. We'll have to see. Let's see how I can find it. It's called 5 Total Strangers, and it says it's unpredictable. I actually do much better with thrillers as books than movies. Let me see if I can find what it's about, though, because I obviously haven't read it yet. I think I'm going to have to search it. Okay, 5 Total Strangers. Here we go. It's this global book club, which is what got me interested in it. So you can read it without any wait lists or any holds. Let's see what it's about. She thought being stranded was the worst thing that could happen. She was wrong. Mira needs to get home for the holidays badly, but when an incoming blizzard results in a canceled connecting flight, it looks like she might get stuck at the airport indefinitely. And then Harper, Mira's glamorous seatmate from her initial flight, offers her a ride. Harper and her 3 friends can drop Mira off on their way home, but as they set off, Mira realizes her fellow travelers are total strangers. And every one of them is hiding something. Soon roads go from slippery to terrifying. People's belongings are mysteriously disappearing. Someone in the car is clearly lying and may even be sabotaging the trip. But why? And can Mira make it home alive, or will this nightmare turn fatal? So we'll see. I don't love horror books, but I do like mystery books. So we'll see if I can make it on this one. I do love books that are suspenseful, that keep you like turning the page and you want to know what happens next. But those are the books I have been reading. I would love to hear if you have any suggestions of books. I have a lot in the queue to read, and I also have a couple of books at the library that are on hold. Let's see if I can find those. I won't really be able to show that to you. Sorry, I know it's super dark. I don't even know if you can see my hand at all. So let's see if I can find it. I don't really want to show you the library because it's got a lot of personal information on it. But I can tell you the books that I have on hold. My account. I have my library number memorized, and it's like 25 digits. Okay, so for holds, I have The Keeper of Lost Things on hold, and The Wisteria Society of Lady Scoundrels on hold. And they're actually ready for pickup. Those are actual physical books. So I'm excited to get those. But if you have any recommendations, let me know. I love reading new books, and I love that I'm in the stage where I'm really excited about them and really devoting time to read them. So if you made it all the way to the end, thank you. I know it's kind of just a ramble, but I so appreciate you being here with me today, and I hope that I will see you again very soon. Bye.